Hey everyone, we are live at the Arsenal Fan Circle Thursday night, and thanks for joining us once again. Um, Usual crew on Thursday nights, -1, and we'll talk about the -1 in a second. Gary, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Ray.
Here we go again. It's a Thursday night, and maybe moving forward we'll talk about it, but the next two Thursdays land on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and I'm sure nobody wants to be watching us on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. So we may move up to like a Wednesday. We haven't talked about it, but we may do that Wednesday before. So it'll be 23rd and the 30th of December. Sam, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me as usual, Ray. Always a pleasure being on here. Nice to see you other guys as well, Gary and Alonso and everyone in the chat. Nice to be here.
Hello.
And Alonso, thanks for joining us.
Yo guys, how you doing? How's life going? And yeah, good to be on.
Hey, and as regular viewers will know, we have a regular panelist who is with us almost every podcast, but he's in difficult circumstance right now, so we just wanted to give you an update. I know Stephen Denham in particular would want to know. So, Gary, you have an update on Tony, or as we better know him as Davy Crockett.
David Crockett, yeah. So the Bears are happy. Let's just say that. So they don't have to deal with him right now. But yeah, he's going through his recovery. I think he gets little hiccups right now. So if you got however you do it, if you can keep him in your thoughts and send him some well wishes, that'd be nice. I think he'll need that to get in his hopefully speedy recovery. So we're looking forward to having him back, in the chats and then on screen soon. But yeah, so he's I think just going through some recovery, which is I think it's going to be a big adjustment for him. So yeah, we just keep him in your thoughts and send him your well wishes.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Tony. Hope to see you soon.
Hasn't had much sleep in the last couple of nights, so probably 30 minutes combined. So, and so it's going to be a little bit yet, but we look forward to the day that Tony will be back with us in one of these squares here. A lot like the Brady Bunch. He's part of our bunch, right, Sam?
Exactly. Of course he is. Exactly. It'll be good to get him back. He'll be welcome back when he comes.
Yeah, maybe even Granit Xhaka will be shipped out by then, but we'll see what happens.
If we're lucky.
No use having him taking up space, right?
Exactly.
So really, really good result yesterday. Aside from the Arsenal one, we're going to talk about. The Liverpool are back on top of the league, and we're quite happy about that as Arsenal fans. I just wanted to get that in there. Gary, I thought that Liverpool would take care of Spurs, and they left it late, but they did.
They did, and they got a couple of scares there, right? So I think it could have gone either way. So luckily for us, I guess we're a little bit happy that the other team didn't win. So that's a plus. And I guess they always say the cream rises to the top, and they eventually did in that game. Yeah.
And Alonso, I want to be kind of petty about this. As long as Arsenal are going to be struggling and Spurs are up at the top, I always want bad results going their way.
Of course we do. I mean, that's a natural instinct as Arsenal supporters that we want the Roger Henry to go down as far as they could go. And, I think we all knew that there were frauds anyway going, being on the top. So, we got to put it, banter,
So I'm going to chat. Liverpool are top of the league. Liverpool are top of the league. Yes. Sam, to get Mourinho pissed off a little bit, it was not a bad way to finish the game with a injury time winner for Firmino.
No, absolutely not. It's always good to see Mourinho a bit pissed off, isn't it? It's not difficult to piss him off, is it? I mean, it doesn't take a lot to get him going. But I'll tell you what, it's always great to see him go and get pissed off, and it just makes it even more fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Gary, did you see the little mini rant that Mourinho went on?
I did not see that, but I was just, like I said, I was happy with the result, and then that was enough for me. I I don't really want to give them too much of my time. You know what I mean? So it's like that. The fact that they didn't, the fact that the win didn't come their way and they're off the top of the table is a plus and more than enough for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully hopefully that creates a trend for them in the opposite direction. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Troy, I hope you're here. Yeah, we started doing these streams late in the UK, the US here, and let me just do this for a second. Late in the US, just to reach a different audience, Troy, and it also sort of works out for me a little bit on Thursday nights. But we also do 2 p.m. Here in the US on Sundays, so you can catch us at 7 p.m. UK time as well. And Stan says because I'm in America. All right, Steve, thanks for joining us, and good evening, everyone from Gary. Miss Molina's here. Thanks for joining us. Big up, everyone. Stan, this is my COVID hair. What's going on with the hair? You've gone from being a fifth Beatle to one of the Taylors, Duran. So I'm going to let it flow for a few more months, and then we'll see what happens. Alonso did well with his score predictions, didn't he? From what I can remember, I think he got a few right. Yeah, we've been doing pretty good there. Hope everyone is on the panel as well. Thanks for joining us. I've not seen Jose melting. We'll go and seek it after the pod because, as Sam says, it's always a treat to see him crying. Okay, and Alonso, I'm just going to put you on mute a little bit till you get your packaging sorted out there. Okay, so another point of order here, Gary. We just want to go and recognize Gerard Houllier, who passed away in the last few days. Give our respects to, a former Liverpool manager, Aston Villa, and with the French team as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not familiar with him as much as I probably would like to be.
Yeah.
But I think it's been a crazy year in general for everything, basically, for everyone, for sports, for the media, for everything. We're losing people maybe in general, but especially at this time of the year and with things going on. It's this it touches us a different way these days. So
yeah, definitely. And in a game where Liverpool, Sam, won 2-1, a fitting tribute for Gerard Houllier from the Liverpool team.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It just times in nicely with it, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, Houllier was a very, very, very good manager. He was managing a Liverpool team at the time that wasn't really at its best. They've gone through, quite a long period of time where their teams have been a bit up and down. With a lot of players that are not quite at the standard they've been used to. And Houllier, he made a lot of success out of that. He was a very successful Liverpool manager. They love him, and he actually did the treble with Liverpool. A slightly unique treble, and one that's a bit controversial for other fans because they're including like the League Cup and the UEFA Cup and was it the Community Shield? I think they included as those three trophies, but. Anyway, it was a great season. They had that one season under Houllier where they actually did those three trophies, and yeah, he's done a lot of good other good things as well within football. A very well renowned person within the football community, and of course, very sad to see him go.
Yeah, exactly. So rest in peace, Gerard Houllier. Paying our respects here. Stan said, "Can Alonso do my pools coupon each week, please?" So. Anyway, Gary, let's get into the game. Arsenal versus Southampton yesterday, and 2 enforced changes where Ainsley Maitland-Niles coming in at right back, and Ceballos came into midfield for Granit Xhaka. Those were the 2 enforced changes. Did you see anything beyond that? Pepe was always going to come back, right?
That was the hope, right? That was the hope. I mean, we assumed with the way he was playing in Europa League that he would be an easy one to come in. Willian wasn't showing much, so yeah, definitely Willian should have been sitting this game at least, or yeah. So yeah. When I looked at it again, It looked fine. Based on what I knew. I mean, I was a little disappointed in the bench because I thought, we would see the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, maybe even Balogun, maybe having Cedric, Luiz, and Mustafi on there. One of them probably could go, I think, based on what we know. Would have liked to see Emil Smith-Rowe. I think that might have been, based on what we know now, that would have been helpful to see. I think the young guys need to somehow get on the bench, and that was a little disappointing. I think they deserve it based on their form, and they're going to need to be playing if we're going to make it through this window. If not, we're going to struggle, I think, because we're not going to have either a new structure, or we're just going to, those players that when needed won't be available to us, and that could hurt us in the end. So,
Sam, do you think we can read anything into it other than, maybe Arteta's not learning lessons because he only had two changes that were enforced that pretty much impacted the team. All of the other, maybe Lacazette coming out for Nketiah into the team would have been a change, but we're going to have to wait another week. And I've been going back and forth with Gary on this one. It always seems to be another week until we see what Arteta's going to do with this team.
No, for me, the lineup was what he was forced to do, but he didn't do it. He still didn't make the right decisions, in my opinion. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has shown a lot of potential in midfield. I think it would have been a lot better choice in midfield than Ceballos. Ceballos has been terrible recently. Again, he goes for the poorer option. The option that's not in form again in Ceballos, which again is just. This is what Arteta keeps failing at, right? He keeps failing at choosing the players who are not looking the best. And then I completely agree with Gary. How is Emil Smith-Rowe, after his recent performances, not even on the bench? Yeah. He's got to be an option. He's got to be an option, to come on. And Balogun, the same. How is he not even an option? It's just these things they're bringing him down. He's going to go very soon. I don't see him lasting long. I know that's a different discussion, but it's these things that are causing this. And another thing I just want to say is Cedric to be on the bench and not start when the guy's been given a 4-year contract and he's paid quite a lot of money. Why do we have him? How can Ainsley Maitland-Niles be shoehorned into right back that he can play at a decent level, but he's not a right back? But he goes in there instead of Cedric, who is a right back, who we've bought from Southampton on a 4-year contract. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. I don't know what this guy. What's he doing? Is it something in his tapas or what? I don't know. Anyway, but Sam, stuff like that just gets to me.
You're dead right, Sam, because Ceballos is one of those favorite players.
It's favoritism, right? That's what it is. It's favoritism, and it's just like he's looking at Cedric and saying, "I'm not quite sure about you." I mean, look, no wonder the guy doesn't play very well. I know he's not exactly, setting the world on fire when he's playing Cedric.
Yeah, he's not feeling
but how does he get to do anything if he never gets to play? And then what kind of kick is it in the goalies when he gets benched and Ainsley Maitland-Niles gets used ahead of him when he is a right back and we just got him on a 4-year contract? Why did we do that? Why did we waste all that money on Cedric when we're not even going to use him?
Yeah, exactly. So, to what Sam just said, Alonso, Ceballos has been found the midfield slot in this game against Southampton at the expense of Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now he gets a game at right back. But the two changes that have been enforced on him, he still found a way to bring one of his favored players in Ceballos into the team.
Well, when I saw the lineup, I was hanging out, and I thought to myself, well, yeah, Williams not there, and Xhaka is not there, and Billion's not there by fault, so because of carded and stuff like that. And for me, I thought that we had a chance to actually do something. And when I saw the lineup, I thought to myself, why is it in the midfield where he's best at? It shows in the last Europa League game that he was up for a challenge and he accepted it, and he did pretty well. And like Sam said, I don't know why Arteta doesn't trust explosion up. I mean, the guy scored his first Premier League goal game as an Arsenal player. He scored, and so it kind of tells you something that he's capable of moving forward and scoring. And he's not the best, but he is who we have right now, and it's just a big mess. I think Arteta has to figure it out soon what he wants and what his best 11 is, and I don't think he even has that correct. So it just makes me mad and irritated and frustrated that these players who need to run at some games aren't getting them.
Yeah, I mean, ostensibly, if you're looking for clues that Arteta's going to change things up and not bring, because Bellerin's going to be eligible, right, for Everton, Gary.
That is the disappointing thing, is because by not putting players in their preferred positions, some of their different, some of their bad play, some of the things, some of their negatives kind of showed itself, right? I mean, Ainsley looked really good on the defensive end, but moving forward, he looks like he usually does a little bit, struggles a little bit with the ball at his feet. But I, kind of was looking at one point in the game, he made, I don't know, 3 or 4 interceptions on that right-hand side, which, I don't think I've seen as much from Bellerin as I probably, would expect from a right back. But his going forward, it needs a little bit of work. But for me, I'll take that right now because I feel like defenses are kind of our stronghold right now. It's the thing that we do pretty well at. So anybody that can support that and then also make that move forward, I think is a plus. Bellerin coming back in, I think will, I'm a little scared about that. Just looking at the front line for Everton, right? I mean,
that's like I say, every time there's going to be another game for Arsenal, we have question marks right now, and it's always interesting to see what the pre-game lineup is going to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to be a struggle for him. Everton, was struggled for a little bit, but I think that was due to some injuries. But I think with Richarlison back, they're looking closer to what they were before, and they blanked the last 2 games they played, and that's Leicester City and Chelsea. So I don't know. I don't think we're at that level right now. We've shown that. Maybe Leicester minus Vardy we are, but not with Vardy, and they did that to Vardy, right? So if they can stop,
Yeah, so we'll preview that game a little bit later in the podcast, but we're going to go specifically into the Southampton game now, Gary.
Yep.
And I'm going to ask a couple of questions of all of us. On the face of this game, Gary, based against the Burnley game, did you see a reaction in the team?
No, not like I expected. I mean, that first half they came out flat, like I've seen before, and once again, it kind of got quiet for me, and that's when things went a little bit haywire there, right? It didn't look good. That first goal, kind of, that kind of just that first goal, that kind of, how would I say? I think what we saw there was desperation from some of the players, especially Gabriel, trying to do a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's from the coaching that they're getting or just from what he's seeing on the field. Because I think he put himself out of position and kind of, hurt that back line. And when we're not that good defensively in the middle. So basically when I forgot who it is that ended up on the floor, but once that happened and they made a turn, there was nobody there. We were kind of late to come up and stop that attack from there, and gave Walcott basically the thing that we feared would happen when we play a former teammate, right? And
yes,
I think it's Ceballos, or I think Gabriel kind of.
I think it was Ceballos went to ground. Gabriel pushed forward. I've got my own views on what happened there as well, but
I mean, Tierney didn't come up and close him down soon enough, I think. I mean, I don't think he had a chance. I don't think he thought that was going to happen. But with this team, you got to be on your toes. And then then the fact that the ball goes over Leonard's head when he's ducked down seemed, at least to me, I understand it's not his fault, but I need him to. Those are the plays that I need him to make. Right, he makes some miraculous saves. But those ones I expect is, I would like to see. I think he can make those stops as well. I mean, typically you come out, you want to be big, right? He kind of made himself really, really small.
Yeah.
And they got that goal. So that's kind of how the game started for me. I kind of felt like we came out flat again. I don't know if that's because I don't know why they come out like that every time, not ready to go, based on the way that the last game ended. And I think I think they got desperate, and that's kind of put them in a bad situation there. And things didn't look so good for us in that first half until until we were able to get the goal back, and then then we had another collapse again. So, but yeah, we started out slow. I would have liked us to come out a lot faster.
This thing was starting slow. I just want to come in on that because that is something we have struggled with for such a long time. I mean, years. It crept in with Wenger after the Invincibles. When we changed our philosophy and style after the Invincibles, when Wenger changed to a more possession based football, that type of football rather than the direct counter attacking we used to do. We seem to, and I think it's down to a lot of this, everything that was happening at Arsenal then with Wenger is like everyone was so comfortable, in their own little bubble. There was this whole Colney Crash atmosphere, where no one could speak up or criticize each other. No one was ever in the wrong. And I think it just creates this atmosphere. I think it's just this whole culture we've got at Arsenal where it's just like you're at Arsenal, you're okay, and you just you just go out and do your job. But that's what it is basically. It's your job, and there's no real desire and hunger there to go out 100 150 miles an hour and just really start tearing into teams in the first 10 minutes like we used to do in the beginning during the first part of the Wenger reign. And it's something that's always bothered me because we start off flat, like Gary says. We start off in like second gear or whatever, and then all of a sudden, if we go behind, it's happened so many times. We go behind, all of a sudden we find that fourth or fifth gear and claw it back. Well, we used to. Now we can't even do that. But before we would claw it back and maybe get a draw or even win. But it would take that going a goal behind for us to wake up. And now it's just like the second half. It's like someone shakes us up in the second half, whether it's Arteta or the coaching team or both or the players. And we'll say, "Come on, guys, let's go out and show something." And then we start a lot better in every second half. We start a lot better than the first half. I just don't get it why we can't prepare. And it's like we don't prepare and set up games to start off with a high intensity and a high, level of hunger and desire. It's like we just go out there. Oh, let's go out. We're going to play. Okay, we're playing. I just don't get it.
Yeah, the other thing, Sam, you talk about how we start the games, but I have no confidence if we're a goal down going into the last 5.
Not anymore. Before we would go a goal down, we would always that would kickstart us, and we would get a goal back and maybe win 2-1. But we'd struggle with a lot of draws as well. It's not talking about Emery now. A lot of times that happened with Emery. We'd go a goal down, and then we'd start get a goal, draw most of the time, sometimes win. But now because we're so terrible attacking, there's no chemistry, cohesion. We can't even claw a goal back. We did yesterday. But normally now we just can't even claw a goal back,
Yeah, I think one thing that I just saw in the chats, which I think is key to this thing, is confidence. I think Ray Anderson had a post there, and I think.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing like Stan. I don't know if Stan, you might. I know you're over there in Vancouver, mate, but I think you grew up in the UK, and there's nothing that sobers you than you're playing school football for your school side, and you're going to some school somewhere in the county somewhere, and it's a Sunday morning, and it's early Sunday morning. It's cold, the wind is blowing, it's wet, and of course their janitor, their janitor, he's forgot to bring the keys, or he hasn't showed up. So you're changing and doing everything outside in the cold, So you're changing outside of the cold and trying to get ready outside of the cold. And I tell you what, that's such a sobering experience. It really is.
You're right. It reminds me of my high school days. Went to we played a game in the middle of winter, and our bench was essentially right next to the side door and that exited to the gym. But for some reason, it was open this time, during the game. So our entire bench had the wind blowing in. I mean, there's snow outside. The wind is blowing across our bench. We're from Florida.
Yeah.
We're not,
Yeah.
we've some of these guys the first time they've seen snow, but yet now we're playing basketball. You go to the bench and you're just like, shivering, and that's I definitely understand that part of it. But can I just get back to the confidence thing? I think.
Yep.
I mean, I understand the slowness, but I remember, I would say, kind of midway through last season, if you remember, before that time for Emery's first year and such, we would start out pretty fast. Sometimes we would get a goal, and then as it got worse, as things got worse and worse, we got the opportunities, but just never finished. And then eventually, I think teams just said, you know what? You guys can't finish. You guys can't. We just sit back and wait. You're going to give us it, and then, and that's what would happen. Now, I think it's more on us now, not coming out thinking that we can score anymore, and that might be kind of the mentality coming into these games and the confidence that I think the manager's not providing to them, because we have players that can score. We have players that can make create their own scoring opportunities or for their teammates. And they're not being utilized that way. Why have a Pepe out there who can do the things he does with the ball at his feet? We saw what Saka can do if he needs to, right? Split three people, put a ball, to Eddie, and then bang, goal is scored. Why can't that happen consistently, or those opportunities can happen consistently?
Gotta get to Alonso next. Alonso, did you see a reaction in this team yesterday?
Not until the goal was scored, which took a long time for me because, we had a lot of possession as well sometimes. And, the ball got intercepted or, something happened where the play was stopped. And had he keep going, maybe something would have happened that would have maybe energized the team a little bit. But, we're a stagnant team right now, and without no creativity, then this is going to be a long game and a boring game to watch at that. So, it's just very frustrating because we can't score goals when we need them. And, everybody's inside the box, but they're just too busy playing around and trying to do tricks and stuff and pass the ball. And it kind of shows like the confidence that the guys are saying. Like, there's so many times that they can shoot the ball, but they just don't. And I don't know if it's a Miguel Tita problem where he doesn't tell the midfielders to shoot enough, or if it's just a sociological problem where it's in their mind and they can't score enough goals, and they see that, and so they're like, well, let's just those around the box a little bit to see if we can pass the ball around and hope that something can just go in.
Yeah, we've seen many times, Gary, when Xhaka won't even accept a long-range shot when it comes to him. You see the opportunities there, but he sprays the ball out to the left. Again, with the cross thing, let's not get caught up in the crosses, though. There are more crosses than the Vatican, as Stan would say. And to your point, Gary, Southampton started very well the first 10 minutes, 60% possession, pushed us back a little bit. And then we got to get to the first goal. It's the Walcott goal. And for me, I think you've touched on it already, and I agree with you. Gabriel, I think, has been putting out fires all season in this team. And I feel like he's actually trying to help his other teammates almost too much now, to the point where his game is getting skewed from his natural game. And he's trying to, I don't know what business he had. I guess he was pulled in there by Shea, I forget the forward's name, Shea Adams, pulled in the midfield. Ceballos is there, but somehow Gabriel feels he has to be there as well. Very similar to the Tottenham goal. He's caught in midfield. The ball gets recycled against Kane. And in this case, Tierney now has to pinch in, has to be the left centre back. And I think he wants Saka to help him as well. But the whole thing happens so fast. Saka cannot get there. Tierney's left he's marking space rather than marking the player, Walcott. I don't know how it would work out anyway. Walcott's still got that pace. And, yeah, we're asking Leno to bail us out, Gary.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you look at the play and you see what happens after Ceballos falls down, Tierney and Saka are like, there's nobody over there. I don't know if there's any Southampton plays on over there at that point. It didn't seem like it in the way the play ended. The way the play went, because it sounded as if like the furthest back they had at that point was Walcott. On that side of the field, anyways. I don't know, but like you said, I think Gabriel kind of threw the system out of whack, and then nobody was there to recover in time. And that's the other part of this. We have probably a decent structure when nobody breaks their line, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once the line is broken, there's no recovery. Nobody sees the danger, calls out, makes the necessary adjustments on the field at that point in time, because they can see, like, Holding, I think, would have saw Gabriel move out of line with him, and then could have either called up Tierney or somebody to kind of support. I think that's what teams do, right? I think you see those some of the top teams, they're communicating at all times, and you can see the danger which potentially could happen when your best defender is out of position, right? And the striker, he's going to attack the striker who could get right by him, and that's what happened. So, yeah, I think these are the I think these are the times when you don't have that captain, and use that captain to sit on the back line, controlling what's going on, or even the goalie, for example, controlling what's going on, because they can see it's all happening right in front of them. They can see two guys going up to attack the player with the ball, and if you think about it, like you said in the Tottenham game, players went up got to Kane late, and next thing you know, they've got a scoring opportunity on us. Same thing happened again, just a different scenario, but the same, same process, same situation. Players get there late. So if you're going to get there late, then you need to take the guy down, right? Because at that point, it's okay. It's outside the box, and it looks like you make it look like a foul, you'll be okay. But the fact that both of them missed it, they gave him a free run to the goal, and we got punished for it.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam, as Ray Anderson says here, communication is key for football, especially the defense. I don't think Tierney. Well, Tierney is in a bad position. He can probably position himself more to the left, right?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I didn't catch the game live. I've seen some of the highlights and everything, and but yeah, I mean, he could do better. But this is it. He's not going to be perfect, is he? I mean, he is going to make mistakes, the same as Gabriel. This is, I think, the first game now seeing Gabriel make a couple of mistakes, and it's just, I'm not going to be hard on the guy, the kid. He's not even a guy. I call him a kid. This is expected, right? You're going to have some blips when you're this new and you're just coming into the Premier League, But I still absolutely believe in him 100%. I still want to keep playing him because he's probably our best defender so far. But yeah, like you say, Tierney, I think from what I saw was slightly out of position there as well, but. It's he's going to make mistakes as well. Tierney, he gives us so much more in other areas, but yeah, again, it wasn't a great goal. There's a few different things involved there that we could have done better. And for me, Leno didn't do well for that goal. Leno should be saving that goal for me. So, again, Leno is a question mark. And this is not good. It's really not good, unfortunately. So. Anyway, Tierney, not great, but it is what it is, and he's still a very good left back. So even very good left backs make mistakes.
My point to that is just that we had three of our probably better players had an opportunity to maybe make a play on that, and we weren't able to get it going. If Saka closes, if Tierney is able to get there, if Leno,
there's a few different things that went wrong there. That definitely, there wasn't really just one person at fault. There was, like you say, there's two or three players there who could have done things differently. But how typical is Walcott though? I mean, Jesus, Walcott. Just
reborn.
Just start dancing through there like it's 2014 all over again or something. It's. Anyway,
Alonso, we're going to talk about discipline a little bit later in the podcast, and Gabriel has been and probably will be our player of the year. I'm going to say that right now. The voting,
yes.
even after 13 games or whatever it is, you can probably say to yourself that Gabriel will be our player of the season, unless Aubameyang comes up with 20 goals in the next 20 games, which might be tough to do. But Alonso, what did you think of that first goal, the Walcott goal? Really quick transition on us. It happened really quickly through midfield, but not to go on about Gabriel too much, but he did play out of character a little bit for me and try to do things in midfield that he probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, and I'd say that he had played too high off the line, and that's been our problem the whole year. It's just not him. It's just that most of his goals have come from our midfield, and this lack of communication, I think. And whether it's Ceballos or Saka, it's mind-boggling how many goals have come from midfield, whether it was passing or dribbling or what have you. And most of these things can be stopped. And it's just, I don't know if Gabriel knows English that well or what, or maybe he needs to shout more or what. But, it's just very frustrating. And Ray, like you talked about, he has, Wilcox still has that speed that, is pretty varying. It's pretty amazing. So, fair play to Wilcox for scoring against us, I guess. But, we don't have to do better by stopping that goal. And I don't know. It's just, we lack pace sometimes in the defense, and it killed us again today, or yesterday, rather.
Yeah. An interesting stat from this game now, it continues. So we have not had a clean sheet at home since Norwich, the 4-0 win against Norwich. Sam, I'll go to Sam.
Well, we're record breakers this season, aren't we, lad? I mean, are we, lads? This is our worst start to a season since, what was it, the early 70s overall. It's our worst Premier League divisions start ever since the Premier League, was introduced in '92. We haven't lost 3 games at home since 1949. So you have to go back to the Second World War just finished basically to when that happened. So like I said in other podcasts, we should go and get Roy Castle back because we're record breakers, right? I don't know if you remember that show when you were a kid, but record breakers. Probably just for us in the UK, there was a show where they would attempt to do world records every week on the show and everything. It's called Record Breakers. Anyway, this is just what we are. We're record breakers, just not the right records. It's all the negative records, right?
We're handing out first wins for teams all over.
Yeah, it was Leicester, wasn't it? It was Leicester was the first one in 73.
Yeah.
If Southampton had beaten us, it would have been the first time. Since I don't know, a long time at home.
And also, Sam, we've never lost 5 games in a row at home, so we just about saved that.
Well, it was the fourth one. This is the fourth one, wasn't it? We've lost 3. This could have been the fourth one, wasn't it?
This would have been the 5th one.
Have we lost 4 in a row?
We lost 4 in the last.
Yeah, so that's from 1949, and the 5th one's never happened, right? Yeah, so wow, we could actually set a whole new record if we'd have done that. But anyway, I mean, listen. What can we say? I mean, we are terrible at the moment. I think a lot of it is down. I think a lot of it is confidence. But where do you pick up confidence? You pick up confidence from doing the right things, right? And this is down to the manager for me. It's not picking the right players, not picking the right tactics. And the players know this. The players know it's not working, and it's hard for them to pick themselves up and get going, doing the same thing again and again. They know it's not working.
I don't know. Norris McWhirter, it doesn't mean anything to me. Maybe it does to Sam.
Norris is this referring to? Basically 19. I think it was 1919.
Record breakers, maybe.
No, is it 1919 you're referring to, or is it? Because Record Breakers was Roy Castle. That was the name of the host of that show. Yeah, I love that. Love watching that as a kid.
Maybe Stan will elaborate a little bit more and let us know.
Yeah. 1919. I think it's that Norris thing where basically it's when they they changed the tier system in football. The FA changed the system, and we were actually relegated. But since they went for, I think it was from 18 to 20 teams in the top division, or was it 14 to? I can't remember. They needed another team, and we were the team that got in there basically because of not this Norris, who was in on the FA board at the time, and I think he paid some backhanders as well.
This guy created the Guinness Book of World Records, is what I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not that; it's another Norwich then, because I'm sure there's some guy called Norwich from 1919 in our history, or is that another guy?
Was that a quick Google check there, Gary?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Nice, Gary.
Yeah.
Nice one, Gary. So following on from this, we're handing out records to all the teams.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. It was Roy's right hand man. Sorry, Stan. Sorry, Ray. That's right. It was his right hand man. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, completely forgot about him.
And
so a different guy.
Southampton would have gotten a record against us as well, but we prevented that. But I looked at our goals for and our goals against, Gary. Now, goals against, we've been quite good this season. We've conceded 16 goals in, I think it's 13 games now. Only 4 teams have a better record than us, so that's not bad. We've been talking about Arteta's being able to coach the defenders to be defensively sound. Goals for, there's only 3 teams that are worse than us, Gary, in goals for, and that is Burnley, West Brom, and Sheffield United, and those are relegation candidates. Are we in that company?
We are. Yeah, we are. I mean, we're keeping games close, but we're not winning because of it. All right. So obviously it's not working. So I'd rather us be a little bit adventurous with the ball at our feet, attacking, to maybe be able to get wins. And I don't think we're strategic when we do that. We're playing fine. We're playing, small margins again. It's what it's always been this year, right?
Yeah. Very fine margins.
Very fine margins. We're supposed to be more defensively solid, but I mean, yes, you show me a goal, I'll show you a mistake, but we are, we're making it easy a lot of times. I mean, we can be a little bit more solid, and we have been. We saw that last year, toward the end of last year, we were able to do that a little bit better. I mean, I know probably coming out of our shell a little bit with the defensive structure is probably opening ourselves up. But if it's opening ourselves up, that would hopefully mean that our scoring opportunities would grow as well, right? And that's not happening either. So, I think we have to, take a look at that and go, you know what? If we're not going to if we're going to open ourselves up and not get any more opportunities to score, then we're doing the wrong thing, and that's we're hurting our defense for no reason because we're not doing anything better on the offensive side. I mean, and I think what we saw. From I guess we'll talk about it later, but what we saw from Saka is the things that we're going to have to do going forward.
Ray Anderson says 3-4-3 works, and I'm actually I'm behind 3-4-3. A lot of people think it's a negative formation, but I don't agree with that. I think it is quite a forward-thinking formation, and it fits a lot of our players as well. A couple of things that have finished out the first half here. There's a couple of yellow cards, Alonso, which is very, very important, I feel, in helping us score that goal at the start of the second half. So just want to note Bednarek's yellow card, foul on Nketiah. Did you see that one, Alonso, on the left side?
I did.
And then later on in the half, close to halftime, there's a yellow card with Bertrand as well in 33rd minute on Pepe. Southampton backline then have 2 yellow cards against them, which I think is important when we analyze the Saka goal, and we'll get into that. But a couple of other things, Sam. Disciplinary-wise, Ceballos slams the ball down because he doesn't. I don't know if you saw that, Sam.
I didn't see exactly that incident, no, but I do know discipline is we're struggling, aren't we, with discipline?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that a little bit after we finish the analysis of this game. But okay, so then going into Gary, let's talk about the Ceballos. He's dancing on a sixpence because I know this gets on your last nerve, right? Players that don't shoot when you're 6 yards away. Ceballos, a great move Ceballos gets into the box and he decides to dance on the ball, indicating a VAR decision that was never going to go our way.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have. I don't know what they're looking at when they look at the tape, but we don't have time to figure out, try to get something out of it. Let's just take the shot, right? Worst case scenario, I guess right now the worst case scenario is it goes in, because right now they're scared to even hit it, thinking that, I don't know, something else will happen. But why not just take a shot? I mean, if you're in the box, your head should be up and you should be looking to score at all times. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't think Ceballos had a good game. I just thought like a lot of the players just disappeared for me. Him being one, his yellow card that he got, I didn't. Like I said, I don't think I saw it, but why? Why? I mean, 2 of the yellow cards we got were for things that aren't necessary. Yeah. So I am not privy to what they're laughing at. So do I have to
Boys
look
down
at
there are calling him the Spanish spin top. They're calling Ceballos Spanish spin top, or what else do you call him here? Spanish Long John Silver.
Yeah, and
you just turn around on one leg, do you? There.
So you know that when you keep pumping it, it spins around. Well, that was Ceballos there in this 6
Well, and you know what? And with that, since it's a Long John Silver, I thought both Long John Silvers in the game had really bad days. I mean, I know Pepe does get opportunities and does make shots and stuff, but he needs to do a whole hell of a lot more than what he does.
He's got to do a hell of a lot more. But the only thing that gives me solace with Pepe at the moment is Chelsea have got Kai Havertz, who's not doing anything either. So, thank God he's a flop as well at the moment. But Pepe's one big flop, isn't he?
Yeah. I actually think, Sam, he had a decent game. I mean, I'm going to say that he was brilliant.
But this is the thing, though. This is the thing, though. We lower our standards. Sorry, Gary, go ahead.
The reason why I had Pepe is not being so good because then I have to look at the other side of the field and then compare that and go, all right, tell me something. So Saka is how old? Pepe is how old?
Yeah.
I don't care about the money anymore. I'm trying to. I look at the experience and going, you know what? We've seen
19, right? 20.
Yeah, we've seen Pepe do crazy things with the ball. Positive things with the ball. So I know it's there, and I think the team has just weaned it out of him. I go back to, I forgot what play it was. I think I tell you this, Ray, every time we talk about Pepe. He dribbled through like 8 guys, and I just remember Lacazette standing, inside the goalie box, waiting for the pass. It never comes, and then Pepe kind of loses it when the 2 defenders collapse on it. And it's like there's a snap freeze of it where you can see Lacazette just waiting for the ball, assuming it's going to come. Pepe's head's down. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's spinning around, making guys fall on the ground as he goes by and doesn't pass. And then we don't even see that anymore. But I don't think it disappeared because he's gotten older, right? So that's why I look at Pepe and I say, you know what? I got Pepe on one side. I've got Saka on the other side. I'm expecting similar, performances from both of them.
Yeah.
And the little spin that Saka did, I've seen that from Pepe before, so I know he can do that. So it shouldn't be the case that because one guy comes out or 2 guys come out, that he can't make a similar move and split them, because I've seen it. Whether the team has said, you know what, that's not the way we don't want you to do anything individualistic anymore, which I find ridiculous because we need to. And that's why when I compare the two, I'm like looking at, 2 sides of the, as I was looking at Tierney on one side, Bellerin on the other side when they're playing, we're playing forward to back and going, you know what, one looks a little bit different than the other one, and that's why. And that's what we want. We want equal on both sides, right?
Yeah, they don't balance. They don't complement each other as fullbacks. You see, take Liverpool as the example. Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they balance each other out. Ray Anderson, Pepe should be better than Saka, but he isn't showing it consistently. Maybe that's why Arteta doesn't trust him. Gary, all things being well, who would you play right wing now? Everybody fit.
Well, I want to see what Nelson does when he's healthy, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I'll know. Because, I think Pepe, if he gives me one thing of brilliance, we're going to score, most likely. Willian can be there all day, and I don't think I'll get that. So that's the thing that I know from Pepe. You never know when it's going to come, and I don't know. And I think, like you said, if it's, I think, I know the coach can give them all of this, the plans and all of that, but I think he also needs to instill some confidence in his guys that you can go out there and you can do the things that you do pretty well. And I don't think he does that. I think he asked them to do too much and too much structured things when a lot of some of their skill sets allow them to be able to be individuals out there and make guys miss. I mean, do a spin here or there and then take So
and
that's
then take advantage of that by passing it to the right player as well. Yeah. And for the record, you see down below, we've accrued 21% of our total towards 66 points, which we're probably not getting. We're a third way through the season, so I would like to see 33 plus percentage points there and not 21. That's how far we are behind the top four race, which is academic now. I understand that. Let's get into the second half now. And a great move. I wanted to highlight the 2 yellow cards from the Southampton players and the tussle that Theo Walcott was having with Saka. It was a battle that Saka was not winning early on. Physicality came into it. But the goal comes, Gary, in the 52nd minute. Saka is able to get past about 3 Southampton players, I believe. In hindsight, Hasenhüttl would want one of his players to have fouled Saka there. But he carries on, passes the ball. And you can see the action of Aubameyang is not fluent. You can see his confidence level is low because he actually checks a little bit. The ball goes past him, I think, intentionally to Nketiah, and he plays him in. And what are you thinking in that position? You're thinking score, right, Gary?
Most definitely. I mean, it was set up perfectly. And those are the types of things that you kind of expect to see a little bit, right? I mean, him getting the ball going towards the goal and then making the goalie, the goalie's going to miss. So it worked out for us. And, why can't we see more of that? Why can't we see more of that? Those are the things that we want. I mean, I just want to see more of that. I mean, I'll let Sam continue on with that.
Sam, we won't get into the debate about whether Aubameyang's best through the middle or through the left, but just going to say this is a pointer in towards my argument of playing Aubameyang on the left.
Well, I mean, it's I don't want to get into that debate either. I think he can play just as well through the middle. It depends on Saka out on the left, right? But anyway, so that's the way it's supposed to be set up. But anyway, it shows something that we don't do enough of, and that's take a risk. I mean, we don't take enough risk with the ball. When Saka all of a sudden decides to start to take players on, that's when things open up. That's what you have to do in football. That's why you have skillful, creative players, because they're the people who open up defenses. I mean, you have to. The way football, the way football is designed. I mean, not designed. I mean, it sounds weird to say design, but the way it's sort of set up is, you got 10 players on each side out on the pitch, and defensively, you're trying to put those 10 players, on the right side of the ball to stop, the 10 attacking players from scoring. So, if they set up perfectly, you've got no chance. You just can't do it. Mm-hmm. But the way you're going to do it is by getting you get one of your players to get past one or two of theirs. That's when it opens up because they're missing those one or two players to defend with. Yeah, and that's why football. That's why the best teams have the players who take the risks, and the score and the goals are scored, and the game opens up when players take chances and dribble and get past the one or two players. It opens it up. That's what we do far too little of. That's why we're talking about not just taking the risk with taking more dribbles with the ball. We have the players to do that. Pepe, supposed to be one of the most skillful players on the planet. That's what he looked like when he first came to us. He was, dribbling left, right, and centre. He was dribbling too much, wasn't he? He was dribbling himself into nowhere. He's got the skill there if it was used correctly. Saka, we've seen, has a skill. He used it very well yesterday. We have other players who do have those skills, like Smith Rowe, We've seen
Reece
Nelson also has some good skills on the ball as well. So, we've got these players there who can do these things, but they don't do them, right? It's like they're scared to, or they're told not to, and it's always passing backwards, passing to the side, passing backwards. Instead of taking that risk of putting that ball into space behind, or maybe putting it just off of a defender's shoulder or leg, just to create something, and then get past a player or two to take someone on. If you have the ball, take someone on. Try and get past the player instead of just stopping and passing back, because that's when you get nowhere, and that's what we're doing far too much of, is just keeping it safe, and it just gives the defense all the opportunity in the world to stop us.
Big up, Sam. Jesus, mate, it's got to be freaking late right now.
Big up, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Yep, it's been late, but I just finished work, so I was just doing some work online. So yeah, it sort of fits in nicely this time.
Good to have you in the house, Kevin, along with
Cheers,
everyone else. We are missing a few of the regulars, the Assemble being one of them. So hope everybody is doing fine. That's the most important thing. I want everybody to be doing fine in this day and age. And
yeah, Kevin's a mad gooner over in. He's currently living over in Malaysia, so it's going to be a nice time for him at the moment. Not too bad, but yeah, good of him to join in. He's a crazy gooner. He's normally in our other podcasts.
Yeah, I spent 6 months in Malaysia, so I got to experience that. I liked it out there. Good experience. Yeah.
Big up all gooners who are, watching games in Malaysia. It just happens for, maybe Alonso and Gary and myself to be a decent time in the morning. Alonso, it's about an hour earlier for you. You got to get up a little early in the morning, right? 6 o'clock.
Right. So drink coffee and eat donuts.
Have your coffee, have a donut, and watch Arsenal, right? Lately, it's not been easy to watch Arsenal, right, Gary?
Just stay in bed.
Yeah, I heard somebody actually say that. Don't bother getting up early to watch the team. You're just going to be disappointed. But I mean that it's our team, right? That's what when we love the team. We want to cheer for the team. You don't know when that moment happens, right?
Yeah.
Where were you when, right? And where were you when the light bulb went on? The players started playing the way we wanted. And
where were you?
Yeah.
Where were you when Aubameyang scored a goal from play the first time since he signed his new deal?
That's pretty sad. There's not that many times that we've seen that, right? Yeah. We've seen it twice this year, right? The first game and the last game that we just played. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just, yeah. But you know what? I guess maybe are we going to get to those comments? But I guess maybe after the game we'll talk about that. Adu and all the commentary that's been going on outside of the game.
Yeah, sure. Alonso, so we're getting to the 52nd minute. We equalize. We have a possibility. Maybe we're thinking we can push on now. Southampton honestly have been a better ball playing team than us, and they're a better side than us. They're in third place, so we're not in third place. They're in third place. So for me, all in all, to get a draw here, I'm going to be happy with a draw in this game. But Alonso, we talked about Gabriel, and he's trying to reach and he's trying to play, try and make the difference, I think. And I think when players do that, that's when bad things start to happen. And the first yellow card, Alonso, he kicks the ball away. It's a bad one to take.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate too because, like you guys have said, he's been our player of the year, right? So, again, it's just common sense to not lose your cool, especially when the refs right in front of you or around you. So like Ceballos, I mean, it's about discipline right now, and we don't have that mentality where we could just, hold ourselves accountable because, again, there's no leadership to do so. Our leadership's too busy cracking jokes and pulling pranks in practice, and so it's a problem, I think, for Arsenal right now, and so it needs to be fixed. And how do you fix it? We never know. It's up to players to hold themselves accountable and play by ear. But it's just dumb. How the experience of these problems um, should 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 play out, but they're not getting fixed, and so yeah, it's just very frustrating.
And Kevin said it's 10 a.m. right there in Malaysia right now, listening to the podcast. Terrible week. Arsenal lose week in, week out. Waking up in early hours, like 3 a.m., to watch a shambolic performance. And, that's real dedication. I mean, we're not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, we would, but, it just compounds it. It really, really compounds it for the fans. Gary, so Gabriel's taken the first yellow card. Now, he wrote his luck in the Manchester United game away from home, and so I think did Holding at the time. Both of those players could have been sent off, but it comes back to bite him against Walcott here. Walcott's grabbing at him, but he grabs back at him, and there's no other option, but he's going to get sent off here.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the replay, and at one point, Gabriel is in the air. I don't know if he's in the air, I think because he's leaning on him so much that he just comes off the ground. And you're like, oh, this is not good. And then, and then he spins off on him, and that's when he runs, and you're like, I don't know, have a weird theory about this and the red cards that we've been getting.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Are those related to frustration and rest, and frustration? Kind of, not having enough rest creating frustration and, bad play. That's kind of because we've looked at it. We said, what, certain plays need to sit, and basically in the last game we had two of those players, do things that they didn't need to do. Both got out of the game. Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, are these screams for help? The players.
Let me list everything off to you, and I will give you my analysis of how I think it's either disciplinary or unlucky. That's the two categories, okay? And Kevin, first of all, anyone optimistic with the Everton game looming? We're going to preview all of the Premier League games and give you our upsets, and we will talk about the Everton game. And I agree with you, Kevin. Bellerin versus Calvert-Lewin is not a good matchup. I don't want to see Bellerin back in, but I fear that may happen. All right, so we've had seven.
How much you want to bet, Ray?
I bet what? Bellerin will be back in?
Yeah, the Bellerin is going to be starting against Everton.
I think he will be.
Exactly.
That's the fair every game. It's like who's Bellerin going to have to go up against, and why are we going to be scared?
Richarlison, is he fit for that game?
Yeah, I mean he played the last one. Yeah.
It's going to be Richarlison, and he scored. He scored in the last game.
He's a tricky player.
All right, so we've had 7 sending offs in less than about a year under Arteta. First one came with Aubameyang, I think. Maybe not the first one, but against Crystal Palace. I'm going to say that's an unlucky, untimed, a badly timed challenge that was deemed a red card through VAR when we remember Liverpool, Tottenham, funnily enough, had a similar incident back then. The next one, I think, was David Luiz being sent off twice. One on the restart against Manchester City where he's pulling shirts.
That's right, man.
That was discipline. And against Chelsea, he was unlucky because he's covering up for Mustafi's mistake. David Luiz. I'm going in sort of or calendar order if I can. Nketiah against Leicester, a badly timed challenge. And I think that was unlucky. But the 3 most recent ones, and Sam, you've been talking about, is this a disciplinary? Pepe lost his cool at Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
Granit Xhaka kind of lost his cool.
Kind of.
Wait, see, you know what? Those are the two.
Has he done that before?
No. Think about it. Those are the favorites. That's the favoritism that you just showed there, right? You just show the same favoritism as Arteta.
Yeah.
And we don't like that.
I bought the narrative.
Yeah, it's not. We don't like that. They're both the same.
I'm just wondering, have we ever seen Xhaka do that kind of thing before? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, we have. I was being facetious. I was being facetious.
Those are captain like traits, I guess. Because
yeah, exactly.
So we called Pepe. Pepe is a disciplinary thing against Leeds. Loses cool. Granit Xhaka loses cool against Burnley. Are we calling Gabriel losing his cool a disciplinary one, Gary, in this game against Southampton?
Well, wait. The first one for the first. Which one? Sorry, repeat that again.
I'm asking about Gabriel in this game yesterday.
Well, I thought. I mean, he's time wasting or something like that, right? I don't think I've seen that much from him like that, right? Those type of things.
He's kicking the ball away to stop a restart really quickly.
Yeah, but I don't. I feel, to me, that seems out of character to me that he does, because we're not a team that does that. I've never seen us do that too often. So to me, that seemed a little bit out of character that we would be doing stuff like that. So it's not that it's if we're gonna do that. Right. If we're going to do that, then where are those fouls that come out of that stop the similar kind of counterattacks that we want to see? Right. Why isn't Kane going down? Why isn't Son going down outside the box? So if I saw that, then I would say, okay, I got it. It's a little out of character for us the way we play, and out of character for the way he plays usually, because he's usually just one to be ready to go and defend well.
We are not a well-coached team, Sam. Mourinho team.
No, it's
we
not.
Like about Mourinho, and we're gassing him up a little bit. But at the beginning of the podcast,
no, I don't think we're a wild bunch or anything like that. It's just I just think I think Gary's quite close to what this is about. It's a combination of players. They're being forced to into positions they're not really. I'm talking about, if you're headbutting someone, that's completely different. But when it comes down to fouls and second yellows and yellow cards and all this type of thing, it's, the players they're in positions they shouldn't be in. They're in, they're being forced out of position. They're doing something they're not supposed to be doing because we're being outplayed or we're being outrun.
Yeah.
And we've been put in positions where we shouldn't be, really. We don't have control. We're losing control. And this is our way of trying to regain control and making stupid errors and lacking in, correct judgment. And it's frustration, as well, probably from the players in certain situations. It's not working well. So you'll take it out in other ways. It's quicker than I think to react negatively when you're frustrated and things aren't working out, through your performance. So yeah, it's a combination of all those things, poor performance, frustration, and not playing well, and you're out of position, and you're behind, you're 2 steps behind, and you have to start doing silly things. I think that is a lot of what's behind us. And when Gabriel is just that lack of experience at the moment. It's just he'll learn from that and probably not do the same thing again, hopefully. But and it's always got to remember, when you're a defender, it's always more difficult because you're playing a very physical game in defence, especially central defenders. You are always jostling and fighting with forwards and players you're up against, and that's part of the game,
You could see Hassan Hoodle has those players, especially Danny Ings and Shea Adams, motivated, and they wanted to score, Gary.
Yeah, the one thing just before we get into that, if Luis is on the field, does that look a little different? Does Gabriel work a little differently after he gets that first yellow? I think experience comes in. We talked about experience. I don't think Holden's gonna have the experience that we want right now to be able to basically calm things down when his partner is on a yellow, and we know the other team can see blood, right? And most teams see blood against us when we're playing. So we at that point needed to take a step back a little bit and calm ourselves. But Danny Ings probably was getting a little frustrated in that game, not getting much going on. And yeah, I mean, Theo already had scored. I think
If Theo can score against Arsenal, then Danny Ings
and Danny Ings can. That's something. Something's not right about this situation. The fact that he didn't, I'm happy for. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
And I have to call out David Luiz. I think he held the back line together when he did come on. Him and Holding high fiving a lot whenever they did something good. So I think that was a good thing. I want to answer Kevin's question here. Members of the panel, are you guys still trusting the process? Are you guys on the Arteta bandwagon? So I'll go counterclockwise here. And I'll start off. I'm still on the Arteta in. I still want him in. I want him, as we've mentioned, to start to realize if you're going to pick Hector Bellerin for the Everton game, when you have Ainsley Maitland-Niles or Cedric, perfectly acceptable candidates for the right back position, and you continue with Hector Bellerin, who's a serial offender, then I can't defend you for too much longer. And that day's going to come for me if he keeps picking Gabriel. Now he had to go with Ainsley Maitland-Niles because of enforced changes, but I never was one to go along with trusting the process. What is the process? The process is you have to trust maybe the manager will get it sooner or later. And certain players, there's no coincidence for me. You have Bellerin, Xhaka, and Willian out of the team. We get a positive result against a decent team. And Southampton are a decent team. And last season, 12 months ago, they lost 9-0 to Leicester City. And look at what they're doing now. I can only hope that we're going to be in the same position in 12 months from now, but we'll see what happens. Alonso, are you still in the? Are you Arteta out or in? And do you trust the process?
I'm Arteta in, but I'm losing my patience. And trusting the process is not always about the heck. It's not always about the manager. It's about the owners and if they back Arteta, and whether we get the funds or whether or not they trust him to make the right calls on the pitch. And it's very frustrating right now because, you want to ask yourself, does Arteta really watch video about these guys and what the differences between the Europa League teams he puts out and the current squad he puts out? And, there's got to be some kind of balance, and there is none right now. And whether or not you want your team to succeed with Arteta as a coach, or are you just okay with the process itself? So it's just very frustrating right now. But I'm a Arteta in guy unless he does something crazy, which is not always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Sam,
I am very much Arteta out now. It's only the last 3 or 4 games now where I've decided he's not good enough for me. I could really go on for a long time about this with many different reasons and go through in detail why. I'm not going to do that because that's a whole different podcast. But for me, there are so many things that I could list in, quite a lot of detail why it's not working with him and why it won't work. Because he keeps doing things and showing things that show to me he just doesn't really know what he's doing. And it's alarming, and we need to do something about it sooner rather than later, because if we keep doing this, we are going to be in a worse and worse position, and we have to be able to, sometimes you just have to, grab hold of the problem as soon as possible to be able to do as much with it as you can to rectify it, and at the moment, we're quickly sliding into a position where it's going to be very, very hard to rectify. So, yeah. Anyway, for me, I'm Arteta out. I don't think he's good enough.
Okay, and Gary.
Yeah, I don't. I realize I don't like the Arteta in, Arteta out, or Emery in, Emery out type of Wenger in, Wenger out kind of thing. So I'm going to say I'm an Arsenal in guy, right? Because that's what I want. I'm in for Arsenal, so that's what I'm going to go with. And if that means that Arteta has to go, then he has to go. So I'm more about what's good for this team, right? What we're seeing isn't good for this team. Something needs to change, right? So either the process needs to change, the person running the process needs to change, or the person managing the person who performs the process needs to change. Something needs to change, and we're not seeing all nothing. We're not seeing any changes. We're seeing the same thing. So if you change one of those things, maybe things will be better. And that could be Arteta out. That could be his direct reports out. That could be, that could also be like the players that they bring in. So he has the players that he wants, right? So there's multiple different things that we could be doing. We're not doing anything. We're kind of just sitting on our hands. And I know the window's coming up soon, but I feel like there are players out there that we can put pen to paper right now and make sure we have a plan going forward. And there's no reason to wait, right?
Obviously, Gary, you don't like what you're seeing in the last few weeks, right?
Yeah.
None of us do.
I haven't liked a lot of what I've seen. I don't think it's just the last few weeks. I think we've known coming into the season some of the gaps that we had, and we had the same issues with some of the same players last year. Right? We knew what their weaknesses were. Nothing's changed, right? What's changed this season that we didn't see the last season? I don't think much, right? We're just now, and I think the fact that when, like they said, when certain players are off the field for what reason or another, things look a little different, right? So I'm going to say I'm an Arsenal N. So, and that's
I mean, to get an answer out of you, I'm going to speak for you.
No, you can't do that. If you're my lawyer, I just fired you, so you can't speak for me anymore.
Wow.
All right, I'm reading between the lines. You don't like what you see. You don't think it's going to change.
There's nothing wrong with wanting the manager out. We've got no loyalty to him, but it's good.
No, and that's what I mean. So I'm Arsenal in. So that's the thing. So whatever makes Arsenal happy, which will make me happy, right? Then I'm all for that. I mean, I believe there's things that Arteta can do to make sure things are better for him. He's making things really difficult for himself, right? So, right. I mean, and if he doesn't see that, then I think the more and more you hear him speak, I mean, like if you look at his interviews that he's done from the start to where we are today, you see somebody I think he's threatened by what he's hearing, and he doesn't have an answer, and that's the problem. He doesn't have somebody to support him at all, right? So now he's kind of retaliating to the media, and that is the problem right there. He wasn't supposed to come in and do this all by himself, right? I don't think he was supposed to be the manager for this team. I think they realized that there were problems all around him, and they tried to fix it by just getting rid of people and not bringing in the right people. All right? I mean, you got Sven Mislintat doing what he did for us, for other teams, getting extended, building up their youth program, Stuttgart, and we're sitting here doing nothing. Nothing's moving forward. These are situations that I think are a little bit out of his control. And we'll bring somebody new in, but I feel like we'll take a step back when we bring somebody in because of just the makeup of the team. So that's one of the risks, right? When we make that change. I'd rather make that change sooner because I would like to say bring somebody in if you're going to do it. Throw all the money you can at them so they can do something in the January window. And let's see how we finish up. Right?
Difficult question then, Gary. And we'll ask everyone the same question. If results continue to go 1 point from 9 every 3 games, do you make that move before January?
I mean, I don't. Yeah, yes. I mean, the fear, the fear, but the reality probably will be we're not going to see much change because it just gets harder each game we play. Right.
Yeah, I would basically agree with that. If you're only going to get 1 point from these next 3 games before the January window, it's not going to look good. And we have tough games: Everton, Chelsea, and I think Brighton. Sam, what do you think?
I'll get him out tonight. Really.
Okay.
I think he should have gone. I think he should have gone. At the end of the last game. I mean. We should have someone in. There should be a plan, succession plan. Someone who they can bring in. There's 2 or 3 names I like very much, and I think those 2 or 3 managers who I am thinking of, I think they can come in and have a positive effect straight away because they're experienced, they know what they're doing, and I'm sure they would have an idea of who to play in what position and how to get them to play. This whole myth of no one can come in and do any better is just a complete myth and complete speculation. And second of all, I'm sick and tired of seeing this. We've got no money. Where did people get this from? We've got no money. Why is that urban myth still, flogged around everywhere? We're one of the richest clubs in Europe. We spent the most.
Yeah.
We spent the most out of any club the last few years, and our net spend is the 3rd most. And we paid Wenger £12 million a year on his last contract. So to say, how can you say we're not going to pay a manager? We paid Emery, was it 6 or 7 million a year? We paid Wenger 12 million a year. So how can you say we've got no money for a manager? It's just complete rubbish. Of course, we've got money for a manager. We could get any manager we wanted if they wanted to come. We could pay their wages. We could give them a transfer budget if we wanted to, and if they wanted to come. Probably a lot of managers now who don't want to come to this complete mess. But I think there's 2 or 3 managers who I like very much who would come to this mess and they would turn it around. I really think they'll turn it around. And the thing is, to turn something around, right, you need more time to do it. So the more time you've got to do it, the better. So this whole waiting to January for what? For what? So you get Christmas presents? What? Why? Why are we waiting till January? What's the point? What's going to change now? How is Arteta all of a sudden going to magically make these players perform against Everton and Chelsea? How's that going to happen?
I think you picked the right set of players, Sam. I don't.
He doesn't do that.
What?
Does he do that? Does he do that?
That's what I'm waiting on.
Against Everton, we're going to see Bellerin play right back. I will bet you my house on it.
If that happens next Thursday, I might be in the Arteta out category.
Well, okay, we'll see. But I'll bet you my house on it anyway. But anyway, so and this is why people, you can't back him anymore after these decisions, And anyway, so yeah, it's a whole different discussion. We could go on all night about that.
Yeah,
but I just think it's very clear from my side.
Yeah, I always say that the most difficult. It's easy, right? That's what I like to say. It's easy. What we're seeing and what the manager's doing, it's very easy to change. Whether the team wants to do it or not is the problem, and that's where we are. I think they feel like they don't want to make this change, and that's why we're in the position we're at. Arteta doesn't want to change whatever his process is because it makes him look bad. And the easiest thing is to change his process to fit his players. He's not doing either. He's putting players that can't do what he wants in positions out there. He's not playing players that may be able to perform the way he wants them to. So, like I said, I'd like to say it's really easy what to do. Whether or not he's going to – people always say humans make it difficult on themselves. This is one of those situations.
Yeah, there are signs. There are signs I don't like. You got away from playing out from the back, where the players were quite capable of doing that. We were getting goals playing out from the back. We went away from that. We started to cross balls into the box, where Aubameyang has only scored 3 goals, 3 headed goals in his whole career, and you put 500 crosses in there, you're not going to get 1 goal. Sam.
No, I agree. It's crazy. It's the where do you get these ideas from? It shows he doesn't really have an idea, right? It shows there's no clear, proper idea of what should be happening. I just want to answer Ray's last question there. I don't think he understood what I meant. I mean, it's not about giving Arteta time. It's about giving the next manager as much time as possible to correct this, because obviously the more we wait now with Arteta, the more poor results we get. The more of a hole we're going to be in, the more difficult it's going to be for the next manager to do something. That's the problem. If we could get a new manager in now, he would have more time for till the rest of the season to be able to do something. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about time for the next manager, not time for Arteta. Arteta has had enough time now to show that he doesn't know what he's doing, and it's not just the team selections. There's many other things as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, just the way the team has set themselves up, knowing what we know about the team, why wasn't Partey in to start the season ready to go? Right? We know we needed to fix the middle.
We played for Husam Aouar.
I know, but that wasn't working, and at some point you realize, whatever number I'm giving them or whatever process them, they don't want it. But also then you have to look at, if I can get Partey in now, he's in. He doesn't play. I don't know if we get him in, he gets situated, he gets rested, he gets to play. We play him to start the season and not like have to wait for a couple of weeks or whatever, or from the end of the period, right? So not the start of the season, but well into the start of the season. If we could have got him sooner than that, and I think we would be better off for it. We can't wait to the end of this. We're not in a position right now where we can bring somebody in late and get the best out of them. That's just not.
I'll get to you, Sam. From my point of view, if our results improve, if he starts picking the right players by February, if we're still in 15th or 14th place in February, we have to make a move then. Sam?
That's too late. Too late. February is far too late. There's 3 months left of the season. I mean, come on. Anyway, I just wanted to address Steve Denham. I just don't see. I just don't see how they can think like. Give Arteta a load of money, and that's just going to magically make He's going to magically make things happen. The guy shows he doesn't know tactically. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, I think Taib said Arteta is tactically inept. I don't agree with that. I think he is tactically sound, but I agree with this. No player wants to play under him right now
because they can't breathe.
And this whole Ray Anderson keeps going on about assuming you can only assume that a new manager will fix things. Well, what's the point of doing anything then? Let's just lie down in bed and never get up again. You've got to. Yeah.
Sam, do you think Liverpool fans were like this 1 year into the process under Klopp?
You can't compare Klopp to Arteta. It's incomparable.
They gave Klopp time. They gave Alex Ferguson.
Klopp had proven that he knew what he was doing before. Yeah. He was a proven manager.
What first year manager comes in mid-season and is able to succeed?
Test manager.
First year, their first day as a head manager, and not only that, but at one of the top historical teams of the league that you're in. How many times does that happen? It doesn't. It usually they either have been working there for a while and they get the promotion, or they've been a manager somewhere else and they get the job.
But
I think that's why whenever we look at any of the other teams, guess what? They're structurally better than us. We're a mess. We've changed our whole front office.
Liverpool were a mess, Gary. In 2016, Liverpool were a mess. 2015, 2016, they finished 8th place as well.
And they gave Klopp a lot of slack. A lot of slack and a lot of authority. And he came in with a very good track record. You got to remember, Klopp came in having brought up Mainz from obscurity in Germany to the top division, and then he goes to Dortmund and basically puts Dortmund back on the European map again since the early 90s. Yeah. Right? The guy was a proven very, very good manager, one of the most sought-after managers in the world, and he goes to Liverpool. Arteta wasn't one of the most sought-after managers in the world. Everton, who he's a club legend for, by the way, didn't want him. Everton said, no, we will take Ancelotti instead. So what does that say? Would Everton say no to their own club legend, who has been, they all knew about him and his reputation as a potentially great up-and-coming manager, but even Everton said no to him. So, for me, that says something. And also there's no guarantee a new manager will change anything. Come on, that's just, That's just pure speculation. It really is. I can say that the new manager will change something, and there's just as much. There's just as much hold in that.
The caveat with that, Sam, is the players, and they ran
But
Emery
again,
out
I
of
think
town.
I'll tell you. I think a Hassan Hutul and a Benitez. I think both those guys would come in and they wouldn't play Xhaka and they wouldn't play Bellerin for a start. They would play someone else.
And, I didn't think Arteta was going to be on the cards. I wanted Benitez a year ago. So this is the candidate I wanted, was a Rafa Benitez. Could really straighten.
So I just want to ask Steve, just before I just want to say this one last thing. I'm just going to ask Steve Denham. So Steve Denham, do you think what is happening now is good? Do you think we're going in the right direction? Do you think what is it you're seeing, Steve? I'm talking to Steve Denham right now. Steve Denham, do you what is it you're seeing that you want to stick with? What is it that's giving you hope, and what is it that's showing you the process is working? I'd like you to answer that. What is it that's showing you what we're doing right now is working?
I mean, it's,
right,
to me,
we'll give Steve a chance to answer that, Gary.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's as simple as are there players on the field that you would like to see, one, get opportunities, or two, sit, right? There are a lot of, and I think I saw it in the chats. A lot of talking about their lineups, and in those lineups, there's probably players that probably should be sitting that play more, or that you want to give it an opportunity. And that's what we're talking about here when we're talking about the management, right? Stan is just no. But
Partridge.
Yeah, but I mean, there are lots of changes we can make, and why do you make those changes? Because it's not working. I like I said, I'm Arsenal and I'm all for whatever that means in terms of changes, right? So if somebody has to go,
I think that's too generic, Gary. You got to bring your colors to the mast and let us know.
That's what I'm all about. I want change for the better. I'm not seeing it, right?
And so I think the fan base is 50-50. You can see a split here. Sam is done with the process. I think.
Yeah, and you know what? What I really want is somebody. I would really want somebody to help Arteta, because I think that might be a good thing to have, and that's part of the problem. Like I said, I think he's the only one here, and that's the problem. And that's why, if he had the support that he needed, if you're going to hire him, then you got to make sure he's got what he needs. That's like saying, I'm going to give you, we know we had good goalies. We knew there was problems. We fixed it, right? What did we do? We put players in front of them, right? Yeah.
So I think that, I think what we're missing, I think Arteta's missing is a Pat Rice figure, someone who's veteran, someone who knows the Arsenal way, but yet can tell Arteta was doing wrong. For so many years, we had Pat Rice as our second lieutenant next to Wenger, right? So we need someone like a defensive back to be next to Arteta, telling him what to do, or when things are going bad, to tell him to do things right. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what's lacking. I think there's a lot of miscommunication between not only Arteta and the players, but Arteta and the man and the assistant coaches as well. We had a Pat Rice for years, and so who's really Arteta's left-hand man, right-hand man,
So Stephen is probably typing up a long reply to you, Sam. But I do know that he's pretty much done with Arsenal right now. He's getting all of his Arsenal information from this podcast. He has said that in the comments. He is as frustrated as any Gooner. Again, I'm speaking for someone else, but that's what I'm getting from his. Gary, I'm speaking for you, or I'm speaking for
this is our PR man right here. We just send him out in front of into the microphone. He says what we're thinking, and then everybody thinks that's what's going on. So
Oh, Sam, Steve said, "Who at the club running it knows what they're doing?" And
so that's his reply then. Okay, well, I rest my case.
He's as frustrated as you are, Sam, about it.
So what kind of so I asked him then what is it you're seeing at the moment with Arteta that looks like there's any progress or any reason to keep him, and that there, Stephen, is yes, we all agree on that, Stephen, but why does that mean we need to keep him?
And that's
You're not answering the question.
Well, I posed the question, right? There's 4 different areas where we can make changes, right? There's the owner, there's a management level, right? Somebody who leads the management of the team, somebody who coaches the team, and then the players. Too many players to change. We know that. The owner isn't going anywhere. The management would be perfect. I think we brought somebody who could manage the team a lot better than what we have right now. But the easiest thing to change, of course, would be the coach.
Isn't
right?
that the problem, though, Gary?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can't change all the players, so they get another cushy
What
reign within the manager.
What about Steve Bruce at Newcastle? He took over a crap Newcastle team that were on their way down. There was no confidence anywhere. Mike Ashley's a terrible, terrible owner. Everyone hates him. Steve Bruce comes in and look where they are. Newcastle are doing quite well. So you can't tell me a manager can't come in and do things differently with the same squad that's not very good.
When we see that a lot with teams, right? And not just in football, all around, and in lots of different areas of sports, especially come in. I mean, like I said, I don't want Arteta to go, but I wanted something to change, and if that means he has to leave, then I'm okay with that. But I need to see something changing. We're not seeing it every week when we see the lineup, so we assume they're okay with what they see. We had Adu come up and actually say he's happy with what's going on, right?
That's just PR spin. Come on,
I know, but
they can't tell the truth, can they? No one's going to come out and say we're crap.
Why are we talking? Why are we talking? Kill that interview. It's a waste of. Well, it's not helping anything, right? Because it makes you look stupid, right?
It's true. It has the opposite effect, doesn't it? Because it's like no one's believing it.
I mean, you're 15th in the league. This is the worst you're been in the history of it.
It's going great.
And these are good results. That the two don't match, right?
Sam, Stephen has answered you. It's all speculative because we've gone through Emery, we've gone through the latter stages of Wenger, we've had Freddie Ljungberg, and now we have Arteta.
Ljungberg was just a caretaker. He wasn't just a manager. He was just put in there because he had to.
Let's take the other 3. Is it just the 3 managers that weren't right?
What is the one thing that those 3 managers kept doing, incorrectly?
The same old formation.
It was playing the same players who aren't good enough instead of changing them. So Xhaka, instead of selling Xhaka when we could, Arteta decided to keep him and give him a second chance. And this is what we're getting. This is what we're getting now. Everybody could see it coming. Maybe not as bad as it is now, but everybody has been saying for 2 or 3 seasons at least that Xhaka is not good enough for Arsenal. We need to bring in someone better. We brought in a Partey, and when Partey came in, we didn't see Xhaka for a while for those games. But now he's back again, and we should. The point is, yes, Partey is injured, and probably that is probably part of the matter in hand at the moment. But if we didn't have Xhaka, we probably wouldn't be in this mess. And we could have sold Xhaka at least 2 seasons ago, and we didn't. And that's a poor decision.
This is the biggest problem with Arteta, his allegiance to players. He feels like he owes these players, Alonso, a little bit too much. And to answer Ray's question here, I would be okay with 6th place now because that represents.
How's that going to happen?
My God.
No.
How the hell is that going to happen?
Whoa. So tell me this. Okay. So if that happened, that would mean that we lost the opportunity to win the league. That's what that would mean. All right.
We lost the opportunity.
Based on we're in 15th right now. Yeah. You're saying we're going to jump 9 spots.
But we've lost 7 games.
We're going to jump 9 spots, right? By the end of the season. Why? And we didn't really. And if we had a seasoned coach, seasoned coach, you're winning the league, right? Because we wouldn't be in the situation we are now.
If we're going to go from here where we are now into 6th, we're going to literally probably have to win like 7 or 8 games in a row. At least 7 or 8 games in a row, and all the other teams to drop points. It's just not going to happen. I mean, we need to stop. We need to look at the reality of things. Just because a team is 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 points ahead of us, it doesn't just mean, we win 3 games and that's that. No, there's 10 other teams that need to drop points. You know, we look at the reality of things, and I've looked back at previous seasons, guys, and you guys should do the same thing.
Yeah.
You look after 12 games. You look at the league, the Premier
I'm
League
well aware.
table after 12 games.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, it's not much different. There's not much difference there. The bottom half is very, very much the same.
But it's not impossible that we move up. I mean, we've got to have some luck, and we have to win games. That's the problem. Like, we have to have some kind of motivation, right? And we have to try to do our best with what we have. And what we have is not much, but somehow we have to somehow find ourselves and find a way, because the other teams were more talented than the teams above us, right? I mean,
definitely. Our squad is good. I'm saying our squad is good enough. Our squad is good enough to be right up there in the top half. Exactly how high up is, of course, that's a matter of discussion, right?
Yeah.
You know, but our squad, you look at our squad player for player, it's definitely good enough to be up there. So, you know, you've got to look at then, okay, if our squad is good enough, where is the issue? The issue is in the management. Yes, you can say it's at executive level for all the decisions they keep making that are poor, but you've got you've got the management that's deciding the team selection, who keep picking the wrong players who are out of form instead of the players who are in form, and they keep making the same poor tactical decisions, leaving ourselves open and exposed in defence by using Bellerin. What is every manager going to do that's worth you know, at least something in the game of football? They're going to say, okay, Arsenal, Bellerin's playing. We're going to attack the left-hand side.
Yeah.
We're going to focus down the left-hand side. And the reason why we keep talking about Bellerin, all the mistakes he makes, you know, when they score goals against us, is because it works.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Definitely.
we're talking about him because he's making those mistakes. So the teams focus on the left-hand side.
But also, Sam, you got to think about it. Like, what midfielder on our team is always vulnerable for a counterattack? It's Xhaka, right? And he's always you know, trying to tackle from behind, trying to tuck the shirt because he's not quick enough, and he gets targeted, and then. You know,
and we could have sold him. We could have sold him several seasons ago, and the managers have kept him.
And he's the only one.
Emery kept him, and Arteta decided to give him a whole new chance, a whole new lease of life.
It's not just
Right?
it's also
So how can you say these players got him sacked? How can we say the players got them sacked? Got these managers sacked?
Oh, no.
When the managers just I'm talking about people in the chat. The people in the chat saying that these players and other people have said other places as well. So it's the players that get the managers sacked. Well, the managers are the people who decide to keep them and keep playing them.
It's also him. It's not only Xhaka. It's also Mustafi. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Also whomever else. You know, and it's like, guys, stop, because the more and more we start these players, the more and more we get set back.
Yeah.
And this is why we're in the position we're in, because nobody cares anymore because they're too busy playing jokes, having a good time. You know. It's not the Arsenal way that even Wenger wouldn't tolerate this crap, and even his older years, you know. So it's just very frustrating, and there's no backbone. It's fine.
Exactly, Alonso. That's why I said to Stan, I've got another list of shitbag 6 for you here too, because the first 6, you know, some of them are not in the team right now. They're not playing. Socrates, Kolasinac gets a game here and there. But I could fill out another 6 players that are part of the shitbag 6 tier 2. You know, tiers being the new watchword recently with the attendances. Kevin Mark, good to have you here. Get David Dean back. Put him in Vinay's position. Get Overmars in Edu's position, and get Hassan Hüttl. We'll be doing bits with this squad, and we can start moving forward. We got to wind up in about 20 minutes here. We got to get through a few other things. It's been a lively and good discussion. Things are going to crystallize. You're dead right, Sam. The problem is the players do not pick the players. They don't go into a team meeting, although sometimes you might think it happens at Arsenal. They pick themselves. You know, this is the 11 Boston. Arteta pins it up there. No, Arteta's picking this team, and he's the one who's putting them out there. And I'm going to be saddened if he gets sacked for those reasons that he had allegiance to the same shitbag 6 or 12 every week. They go in there.
Well, you said 6, but I mean, I think half the squad is going to have to be gone, right? Eventually,
Yeah.
so it's a bigger. It's
The second tier of 6.
Oh,
That's
so-
12.
So why not make a statement, right? And you drop those players and you play the youngsters and the other players as a statement, just as a statement, and saying, right, we don't believe these players are good enough for the club. Mentally, the way they play. Sorry, this is just not the way we want to do things. Let's use these youngsters. And yes, I think everyone would understand that. I really do. Of course, we'd understand. We might not get hugely better overnight, but I think everyone would at least understand what they're doing, why they're doing it. And I tell you what, this is what we've said before now for several podcasts. These kids, you play 4 or 5 of them together, they know how to play together. They've been playing together for 10 years.
Yeah. I've been asking for that for at least 2 months now. We did a podcast about the rebuild part 2, and he got the back 4 or 5 settled. We're not conceding goals. Now he needs to get things moving going forward, and part of that is dropping these dead players. Bellerin, Xhaka, and Willian are just 3 of, and I could pick another 3.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a comment in there about it's a strange season. I guess it's Ray Anderson. It's a strange season. This
everyone's dropping points.
Everyone's dropping points, and I'm like, okay, everybody's dropping points. We're the one that are giving away those points because we're not getting. Where are we picking up these points? Everybody's dropping.
Everyone's dropping them, and we are too. We're in the club. We're in the club.
If we were at the level we think we should be at, which I think is a lot higher than 15th, we would be. We might be surprising some teams. We might have won the Leicester City game. We might have actually been able to tie up the game against Liverpool. Right? Little things that could have happened in this crazy season with the players that we think we have aren't happening. So like I said, I want change, whatever that means. If that means somebody has to go, then they have to go. I mean, we want players to go. I don't think anybody is satisfied with the 11 that they see the last number of weeks, right?
No,
so if that's the case, then there is a window of time that the manager has to show what he can do. Have we reached that window? And we're getting there. We think that if we hold on and we get past the January window, players that we come in, and the one thing that scares me is we may do some deals in January that are no different than the William deal that we just did, and be stuck for another 2 years with players, or 3 years, or 4 years with players that we know aren't going to work. Right.
Well, that's what worries me, because according to the information that's come out from Kia Joabchan, the super sports agent, who represents William and William and Louise and many other players, he said that Arteta specifically asked for William and Louise. He wanted them as amongst his first choices, so they weren't desperate choices; they were choices he wanted.
But I wonder why. Because from what we see of William so far, it seems like a waste of space. You know what I'm saying? Like, where does he fit on his team? And for what Stan has said, he's not happy at Arsenal.
This is just what I'm talking about. This is what Arteta wanted. Arteta thought they would fit in. Luiz, I would say, is hit and miss. Mostly, he's done quite well. I would say he's working quite well at the moment, but of course, he's had a lot of problems. But Willian, Arteta thought Willian would fit straight in. I don't think Arteta realised it was going to go so bad. But now he has to take responsibility for that decision, and it's been very poor. It's been a very poor decision.
But also, like, if you think about it, what former Chelsea player has done well for Arsenal? So at what point do we stop that business with them?
Exactly. I agree.
Because the moves that we made with Chelsea or former Chelsea players, look at Goals. He wasn't great. And even the goalie, what's his name? Cech. He hasn't been great. He was past his prime. All these players who come from Arsenal from Chelsea have been way past their prime, and why does history continue to repeat itself? It doesn't make sense to me. Or
it's the decision making, right? It's the recruitment team and the manager. They're going for the easy stuff, the easy players, instead of trying to go for the harder players. And
there's talent in the Premier League. It's just you don't do it because you always want to go players who talk to expensive players. You know, we can get these players in England for cheaper, I guess.
Speaking of decision making, we have a decision to make. Gary, who was your man of the match? Tony is not with us. He'll be watching who you nominate, so be careful.
No, my player of the game, I think, was Saka. So
yeah,
so
Saka.
Yeah.
Bukayo Saka, the creator of the goal.
Yeah.
He made it. He beat 3 or 4 players, I think. Right.
I think as a team we were pretty much solid for most of the game, so there wasn't one person that stood out. A lot of times we would see Gabriel make lots of plays, but I felt as a team we did defensively pretty well. Going forward, not so much at all, if at all. And I think this is why we kept Pepe on the field, is for these small individual times of brilliance that we see from some of the players, and he did that. And I think we saw him getting kicked around a lot, and that's usually because he's threatening, right? That's usually what happens. I mean, we see it from the Grealishes when people feel like they're on a roll, they want to slow him down and they put him down. And that's what's happened to him. That happens to him a lot. He's going to learn from it. He's going to get stronger and all of that, hopefully, and be able to manage that. But I think he did what we wanted to do, and that's what we got. So I'm happy.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Saka, man in the match. I agree with Pepe as well. Keep him in there, and he will produce something in the end, I believe. Better than Willian, and it sort of. I did shock me to see Willian getting stripped off, ready to come into the fray. But I'm glad that didn't happen. Sam, what do you think, man of the match for you?
I didn't really see the whole game, but from what I did see, I did like Saka, so I can definitely agree with that. Yeah. I did like what I saw with him yesterday. Yeah.
Alonso,
I would just say Eddie Nketiah. Saka. I think that I think it's important that, like I think Sam said, how, and you said, Ray, I'm sure Gary said it too, how important these youngsters work well together, like Saka and Eddie Nketiah. And I wish that Arteta would play them more often, like, Smith Rowe, Emil Smith Rowe, and, Niles in the midfields. I think these players can make a difference, and it showed kind of on Wednesday night how important you see the chemistry between Nketiah and Saka, and Aubameyang scoring, of course, but you see that teamwork they have together. I think it's important. So I think Saka, should get man of the match for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's get into the slap a like, people, if you're watching this either live or in playback. Where are you going to get passionate debate on the Arsenal? Yeah. That is when you love the club, and you feel very, 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 very forcibly about how you feel. I feel, you get your point across, Sam. So big up yourself. We all feel that way at certain times with this club. It's infuriating, and I'm saying to Gary, we all see what needs to happen with this team, except for one person. It's the manager right now, and for me, if he doesn't start picking the right team, I don't care about rotating. They're playing every 3 games, every 3 days. They're playing. It's not about resting players at this point in time. It's about putting your best players on the pitch right now. So that being said, let's get into the Premier League preview right now. For those who are new here, we do preview the games coming up, and we do pick a shock choice as well, an upset. So Gary, we'll go pretty quickly. We're going to try and do this in 10 or 15 minutes here. Getting late there for Sam as well. Palace versus Liverpool. Liverpool buoyed by that win over to Tottenham. They're top of the league now. Palace are in 12th place. Dangerous team, though, Palace.
They are. I have Liverpool still winning this one. I think they're going to win this one. So, yeah.
Sam?
Like you say, Crystal Palace, they can all of a sudden pull one out, They really can. So I don't know. This is a tough choice for me. Whether I'm going to go for this one or another one, but I think I'll leave this one. It's not going to be an upset, but I don't think Liverpool are going to have a great day of it. But I think they'll probably nick the win.
Yeah, I think they'll get the win.
Yeah, I think it's an away game for Liverpool.
2-1. It is an away game. Yeah. I'll go 2-1 Liverpool. Alonso?
I think that'd be a draw. I think we're a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Okay. And do throw in if any of these are your upsets. Next one, Gary, Southampton. Actually, I'll go with Sam, so you're not always starting off, Gary. Too much pressure, you know.
You guys don't like my picks, so you can't make fun of me now if I go second or last, right? So
I will rotate it. We'll rotate it. We'll spin it around. Sam, you go first. Southampton.
Would you take? Is Southampton against City an upset?
No. If you want to take, you could take City in that if you want.
One versus three. How do you get
it's
it's true. Southampton are that far.
You guys didn't like my last one, which was like even bigger gap between the teams. So go ahead. Go ahead. Take it. So I can
I'll just say I could see Southampton getting something out of that game. You know, so I'm going to go for a draw at least for that one for Southampton.
Draw with Southampton. Okay, that's not your shock choice either. Alonso?
No.
I'm going 2-1 to Southampton.
Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to go for City. They haven't been playing well. I'll go City to squeak that one. 2-1 City. It will not be my shock choice, though.
Squeak.
So Gary, we didn't get to you.
Yeah, you want to skip me now? No? Yeah, no, I see that as a draw. So yeah, okay. I feel like the teams may be going in different directions a little bit, but I think Southampton after the tough game against us, it's going to be yearning to go out there and showcase, show a better performance than they did against us.
Alonso, Everton at home to Arsenal. It's our game.
As an Arsenal fan, of course, I want Arsenal to win.
Yes, I know.
But
be realistic.
After Arsenal, showing something, I think that confidence is running a little bit high on them. So. But Everton are a good team, so I think Arsenal is going to squeak this one out at 2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah, listen, my head's all over the place. Listen, I'm just making up my mind as Alonso was speaking there, and I think it's hard over head, right? My head says we're going to lose to Everton, but my heart feels like Arteta's going to pick the right team. It's going to finally fix up. That's what my heart says.
He'll finally pick Bellingham, right?
If Ballerin's in the team, we're not going to win.
I mean, Balogun.
I'd love Balogun in the team. Yeah, get him in there. But I think we'll lose. I think we'll lose to Everton. Head over heart, Gary.
No, yeah, I'm gonna say a tie, but that's all based on the Hector Bellerin factor. So, that's all we got. I think somebody was asking who was playing this week. Hector is back, just a 1-game suspension for him.
He's back.
Willian should sit because Pepe gives us more, and Xhaka is out for another 2 games. So. I want to see more youngsters in the starting lineup. I would like to see that, but I don't see how that happens if they didn't even get on the bench for the last one. So I'm still gonna go with the tie. I can't. We're gonna have to get out of this funk soon. Maybe it's when Sam is happy that we moved on. But we'll see. All right, Sam, you're up.
Everton Arsenal.
So we're going to start with Bellerin and Willian, and we're going to lose 3-0.
I can't disagree with that. I haven't seen anything. Haven't seen anything in Arteta's makeup to change his way.
Gary, you know I'm right.
No, I'm Arsenal in, right? I'm Arsenal in. I'm saying,
Me too. I'm Arsenal in.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Next one.
I'm scared because that could happen, and that's what's scary about it. That could happen, and it could happen in the first half, and we'll be over and done with. Oh.
Next one up is Newcastle versus Fulham. I'll go first. I actually see Fulham playing quite well. I think Fulham could go up there and shock Newcastle and win. Gary?
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry, but that was my shot pick as well. I had Fulham winning. I think they're playing a lot better than they were. And you know what? It's upsetting is why aren't we?
Yeah.
Why aren't we? I mean, why aren't we playing better now? 11
why?
games into the season. Why are we not? I mean, why? I mean, there were a lot of shock losses early. I don't think we'll see those things going forward because I think people have settled. But why is Fulham looking like a team and we're not?
Yeah. This is a banner I've had for a few weeks now. Why can't Arsenal play with the possibility of winning and not the probability of losing?
Hey, Gary, I have a theory on that. Sorry. I think somehow we need to get back to the English way of doing things. I think we need to hire an English coach and just have a chip on our shoulder with that because we lack an English presence there at Arsenal. We have for some time now.
Yeah.
And that's
we've seen West Brom. Slaven Bilic got a credible draw at City, and West Brom have fired him. So, those are maybe the Premier League standards. But Allardyce is in. Okay, that's Gary's pick. Fulham is going to beat Newcastle. That's your upset pick, Gary. Have you down for that? Sam?
I think we'll probably see a draw in this game, I'm thinking. Fulham are playing better lately. They're starting to look like a better team now. Scott Parker has started to improve them a little bit. I still think they're going to be relegated, but they do get certain games where they play well, and I think they play quite well against Newcastle, but I just can't see them winning. So draw, I think.
Stephen and Ray have got Newcastle winning that. Alonso, Newcastle, Fulham.
I think Newcastle should win that game, but I think it'll be probably a draw, 1-1.
As Sam said, Steve Bruce is getting a tune out of the players. Gary, you get to start off on the next one. Sunday, it's early morning for us. Brighton versus Sheffield United. You want to get up early for that one now, Gary, right? Brighton versus Sheffield United.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Get up early for that one.
Whenever my body wakes up, then I'll get up, which probably means halftime of that game.
Chris Wilder, Sheffield United have said they're going to stick with Chris Wilder no matter if they don't get another point this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose there's that Wenger effect, isn't it? It's what happened last season. They were amazing last season, and I think that's sticking in their minds, isn't it? Obviously,
they will happily go to the championship and keep their stability and structure in place.
Okay. Yeah,
whereas West Brom will bring Sam Allardyce in.
Yeah, no, I think Brighton will win this one.
Yeah.
I think Sheffield United does have some promise there at the top, but they've come close. They've come close, but they are Sheffield United, and they're just not. The things that were working last. The opportunity they've had opportunities in games to get something out of them.
They pushed United today to a 3-2 defeat.
Yeah.
Sam?
I think Sheffield United will get something out of this game. They looked quite good against United. They had a bit more spark in them. And it's just that, it's that law of averages. There's one game they've got to do something, right? They got 1 point.
And I would accept this as an upset
So it's not going to be.
Gary's gonna get mad.
It's not going to be my upset though. But I will go for a draw in this one.
It's not your pick, right?
Nah, not my pick.
Okay. It's only 4 places apart, Gary, and I know I penalized you on that before.
I mean, I think I might have got that anyways, right? I had Fulham and
you picked your Fulham.
yeah.
Alonso, Brighton at home to Sheffield United.
I think Brighton will win 2-1.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. Sheffield United cannot buy a win right now. Next one up, Gary's. You can go first, Gary. Spurs versus Leicester.
I am not picking that other team. So, I mean, I think Leicester City had a tough outing last time. So,
yeah,
I have a feeling they're gonna do what we did, but they're probably gonna do a lot better as far as sitting back and absorbing what they can, and then maybe be able to squeak something out. So I have Leicester City actually surprising them a little bit. I mean, because I feel like that's the thing. A lot of these teams could play like us, but they can do it a lot better, right? I don't see them giving away 2 goals like we did against that team. So I feel like they're better structured. They're better structured than us. So if that and the way that they just lost, I think they're going to come out a little bit, with a better performance this time around. I kind of like to look at the trends and see teams that I think, it was, they got smacked around, today, right? So yesterday, so. I think Leicester City is going to pull this one out 2-1.
I think so too. I think Leicester will win that one. Spurs can handle crosses into the box, as we know, but they're not able to handle forwards that play on the ground. And I think Maddison and Vardy could get some joy. Sam,
I think the Scum will win. To be honest.
Yeah, we're Gary and I were hoping a little bit more than.
I just can't. I can't go for them. I mean, they might play Sheffield United, and I'm like, I don't know. This might be the time, even though I know no way.
Alonso, Spurs versus Leicester.
I think Leicester's gonna blow them out. I think with 3-0 Leicester.
Go Leicester. Sam, Man United versus Leeds.
This is going to be a decent game, I think. I think there's going to be a few goals in this game. Very difficult to predict because both teams are so, they're so unstable. They're so up and down.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult, this one. I think I'd love Leeds to win it. I really would love Leeds to win it. I just don't think they will. I'm seeing a draw in this one. I have to go for a draw.
Okay. Alonso?
I think this is my upset special.
Me too.
I think it'll be 2-1 to Leeds.
Alonso, you and I keep picking the same upsets. It's not collusion at all. I picked it as well. I think Man United won today, and Man United have problems stringing wins together. And I think Leeds won 5? They scored 5 goals.
5-2, didn't they? Yeah, 5-2 against Newcastle.
Yeah, so I think they're going to continue that trend and upset Man United at home. So I'm going to go for a win for Leeds. So Alonso, you and I are down for the same shock here.
Yeah.
Gary?
I guess just call me stupid. I had Leeds winning. I had Leeds winning this one, but I didn't have this my upset pick for some reason. I don't know. It's more upset as my other one. I don't know. I guess I'm like I said, that was a stupid move. Unless I can change it now. But I had Leeds winning, so I
can't change now.
Set in stone.
No, I think Leeds, like you said, they had a good game. And I think Manchester United is they will allow you back into the game if they pull ahead. If Leeds jumps on them fast, then they could hold on. But I think if it's a close game, we've seen it too many times that Manchester United has another gear that other teams don't. Right? They've come back how many times now in a row, or how many times this year? So
today,
18 points recovered from losing positions.
Yeah.
Rashford and Martial played very well together today, and then on Leeds they've got 3-4 goal scorers. You got Rafinha, Harrison. That was it. Klitsch, what his name is, Keith. I can't remember. It's something like that. He scores goals, and you got Bamford as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them being able to. I don't think we're that big of a stalwart, a good defensive team as I would like us to be, because we're able to keep them to one goal. But I think our Manchester United's threat will slow down the Leicester attack as much as they have a better defense, right?
Well, Leeds did hit the woodwork 3 times, didn't they? Against us.
Well,
Gary. Gary, I'm smiling right now because I'm going to watch this back on playback. Go back to about 2 hours and 5 minutes. Look at Gary's face when he realizes Alonso and I picked Leeds for the upset, and Gary realizes he might have picked the wrong game for the upset. I want to see your face. I'm going to check that later.
Oh my god! Yeah, I just as you guys were speaking, I was like, I really just did that.
Did I just make the wrong move? That's what you're thinking, right?
Yep.
Okay, West Brom versus Villa, Sam.
Yeah, here's my upset. I think West Brom are going to win.
Okay.
I think the Sam Allardyce is going to come in. He's going to motivate them.
Your namesake.
My namesake, Big Sam. He's going to come in. He's going to motivate them. The whole new manager bounce, the whole new everything bounce. They haven't been too bad lately, West Brom. I think Slaven Bilic got a bit of I think it was a bit of harsh treatment he got there, but obviously they weren't happy with him. There's probably something else there behind the scenes we don't know about. But anyway, they've made their decision, and I think Sam Allardyce might come in there in his first game, get the boys going, and Villa they can be got right. They have their ups and downs, and so for me, I just thought this seemed quite enticing to go for as an upset. So I think West Brom at home against Villa, and another thing, it's a Birmingham derby, right? It's a Birmingham derby. Yeah. So it's a derby game, so form normally goes out the window anyway in a derby game. So that added with the Sam Allardyce effect, I'm thinking maybe West Brom might win this.
Good stuff. I'm starting to agree with you there. West Brom with the manager bounce. Alonso?
I think I'm going to go West Brom. I think Kieran Gibbs is in good.
We're jumping on here.
Kieran Gibbs again.
And I think we 2-1 to the Magpies. To the West Brom.
The Brummies. West Brom. Gary?
No, you guys are all wrong. Grealish is upset from the last game. He had a couple opportunities to score late in that game. That won't happen again in this one. So I think he had an opportunity late in that game today, or was it yesterday? Whenever it was that.
Right.
Yeah. So no.
A couple of things happened in that game that were kind of tasty. Could have been dealt with differently by a different referee, and Grealish got away with a few things. And that's all I'm going to say. The game is not refereed consistently. But
Ray, have you got an overview of how we've done? I don't know how we've done with all our. Overview?
I do. But I'll give it to you. Suffice to say, Gary is not doing too well. Gary's
well, you know what? I went for the Man United thing too many times. I went to that well too many times.
When are we going to see the results? What are going to get? Christmas thing or?
I'll bring them next Thursday. Next Wednesday, we're going to go next Wednesday.
It's okay, Sam. The results don't matter. It's all right. It's all right.
It's the process. It's the process.
Sam, you have to trust the process.
Yes, trust it.
I'm picking the team. Maybe you trust me a little bit more in Arteta, right?
Yeah, I would trust you more. That's for sure.
I'll get it together for next Wednesday. Okay.
That'd be great. It'd be good fun to see how we're doing.
Absolutely. Last 2 games. Who will I start with? Alonso, Burnley at home to Wolves.
I think Wolves is just too good for them. I think isn't Raul Jimenez going to come out this game?
I'm not sure.
I think they lost Andres Gomez in the game, so I'm not sure he'll be back. So They're down a man. So
But I think that Wolves are just a good attacking team. I think their counter attack's pretty good, so I think that they'll win that 2-0.
2-0 for Wolves. I actually think Burnley are starting to play well. They've beaten us. They had a credible result with Villa today. I think it was a draw, right?
Yeah, 0-0, wasn't it? Yeah, 0-0, yeah.
I think Burnley could actually win that game or get a draw against Wolves. Gary?
yeah, as you're talking about wins and losses, I was just looking at the form over the last 5 games, and there's only 2 teams with no wins in the last 5. One of them Sheffield United, the other one you kind of know.
Yes.
Um,
Burnley
yeah,
versus Wolves. Go
yeah.
ahead,
So
Gary.
this one, I mean, we've played both Burnley and the Wolves in the last couple of weeks, right? So, and we haven't, I have this one as the Wolves winning, but I could see a tie, just because depending on which Burnley you get, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, they've been trending in the right direction.
Burnley are
Wolves,
pretty consistent in what they give
Yeah.
you,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And they're another.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna say with the Wolves. Yeah,
you're
Wolverhampton.
going with Wolves. Okay. You're reaching a little bit now in this competition. You're like Gabrielle. You're trying to do too much.
And I think did I do so? And I did. Or I already got my stupid yellow card early, so I don't know. Did I just another yellow with my really bad Leeds pick? So I might be out of I'm out of this thing.
About 5 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday, you're gonna be like, I should have went with the Leeds game, not the Fulham game. Cam, Burnley versus Wolves.
Yes, you see, the problem with Burnley is they don't score many goals. They struggle with their goals. They've got that Chris Wood or whatever his name is, but there's not many goals in that team. They play well. They're a hard fighting team, but I just can't see him out. I just can't see him scoring more goals than Wolves. I think Wolves are going to get a couple of goals, so I'm going to go for a Wolves victory.
All right. We're going to round it out here. I'll start off Chelsea, West Ham. It is a derby game. West Ham have been exceeding their expectations. Chelsea are sliding a little bit. They've only picked up a few points in 3 games. And if that was Arsenal, we'd be going, well, we are going into meltdown, and that's what we're doing. So best not talk about Arsenal, right? I actually think West Ham might sneak something there. Gary?
I kind of feel like you said, the teams are going in different directions. So I believe it'll be a tie.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little high-scoring game, 2-2, but I believe it'll be a tie.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah, Chelsea, Lampard at Chelsea is doing the same thing. Well, some of the things Arteta's doing at Arsenal, playing players out of position. Timo Werner, he's got Timo Werner out on one wing and he's got Havertz out on the other. It just doesn't work. But anyway, and they've lost 2 games in a row, Chelsea. They lost against Everton and they lost now against
Wolves, which was so good.
Wolves.
Yeah.
So I can't see them lose. They're not going to lose 3 games in a row, not with that team. I just don't see it happening. So I'm thinking Chelsea are probably going to bounce back with a win in this game.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea are going to win.
Alonso, you get the last one.
I think it'll be 3-2 to the Hammers. I think that they're
3-2
playing well. I think they're playing well. I think Chelsea clearly have issues, especially at the back. So I think it'll be a good game to watch. I think that the Hammers will do good this time around in the derby.
Yeah, when we get Charlie back in the return fixture with Arsenal and West Ham, we're going to ask him what's the secret to a successful season, because Arteta needs to know the answer to that. Okay, thanks everyone for joining. It's been a long one. It's been a good one. It's been a heated one. It's been full of passion. Arteta in, Arteta out. Arsenal in, Arsenal out.
No. Whoa.
What?
You said Arsenal out. That's not even a thing ever.
Not a thing. It's not a thing. Sorry, I apologize. Always Arsenal in, right?
Mm.
Next podcast we'll do Sunday. We'll review the Everton game, and we'll be back on Wednesday the 23rd. It'll be the anniversary of the channel, so everyone who's watched on live, watched on playback, supported the channel over the years, and all the panelists that have come on. Big thank you to all of you. You're all part of it. The three guys here with me are a big part of the show and permanent fixtures. And once again, shout out to Tony, another permanent fixture for the show. We want him to get well soon and come back and give Xhaka some crap if he's still here. If Xhaka's still here. Thanks, Stephen Denham, for joining us. Ray Anderson. We had a lot of people in the chats. Kevin, Mark, thanks for coming to join us. Everyone, you all know who you are. Urban Ghost was here. Taib, Stan the Man. Until Sunday, come on, you Gunners, up the Arsenal, and let's just hope that somebody hits Arteta on the side of the head and he hits memory loss.
Play the kids. Play the kids.
Play the kids. Go with what you had last time. It's okay. We'll see you Sunday. Thanks. We're out of here.
All right. See